Budgeting looks so easy in Excel sheet until real life happens. Expected dinners, shopping sprees, and that one friend who always forgets to pay. Where does all that money go? Hi, I'm Neeti, and today we're ditching the theory and talking about the real life budgeting. No boring charts, just honest talk about how to track your money without losing your mind. Let's make your budget work for you and not the other way around.
This video worked towards the clarity on core values while budgeting, setting achievable goals, balancing spending and savings. It also talks about how to deal with non monthly expenses and answers questions like how do I budget and still have fun.
Before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button and now let's fix your finances one budget at a time. A critical starting point for budgeting is understanding your why. In fact, there's a very popular quote by Carla Stokes.
Remember why you started. Your why will keep you going.
The moment you know your why, you're more likely to stick to your how. Now, before I jump onto how this helps, I'd like you to pause a moment and write down whatever your core values are. It will help you gain a bit of a perspective. Some people value their environment, like where they live, the air, the surroundings, the amenities. So basically, it could be a case for them that they could be budgeting to move to a better place. So their core value over here is the environment. Another example could be valuing your family time. Some people value their family time. For those who value their family time, they could be willing to accommodate flexibility in their budgeting. I remember a friend of mine who would fly all the way from Bangalore to Delhi every month to see his family. So that's an excellent example of valuing or having a core value as your family time. Also, some people value community and connections, so they'd often spend on drinks and socializing, etc. Now, why I emphasized on understanding what your core value is, because this helps you understand and gain an idea around what will be guiding your spending. These core values help in making intentional decisions. They also help you understand the trade-offs. Besides that, they help you understand your why. Values not only guide your spending decisions, but also how you make your money. So basically, your career decisions are also guided by your core values. While some people may value sticking to a job for a lifetime, there will be others who might be keen on hopping from one job to another, or for that matter, even switch to a different career altogether. Similarly, some people may perceive job as merely a source of income, while there will be others who will be extremely passionate about their work. All of these are valid. So core values differ, they differ from person to person. Now that you know the core values that are driving your actions, basically the things that get under your skin, let's consider the cliff that we are eyeing on. It's important to have a clarity about the goals. You see, once you have a clarity about the goals, it will be easy for you to basically chalk out the path and achieve those goals. There are basically three categories which you could be eyeing on: savings, investing, or debt reduction. These could be your possible goals. When we talk about saving, it's not just about stashing cash for your distant future. It's about securing your present and building your future.
First up, the emergency fund. Think of it as your financial seatbelt. Life throws curveballs like layoffs, medical bills, or even a broken phone the day before rent. An emergency fund cushions you so you don't end up in panic mode or drowning in debt. Then there's the down payment for a house. This one's a big deal. It's not just about savings goal. It's a statement that you're serious about stability, roots, and your future self's comfort. The more you save, the less you owe. And that makes all the difference. And of course, the dream car. Maybe you wish to finally upgrade that college bike. Saving for a car without draining your future in the EMIs?
Bottom line, saving isn't about restriction. It's about readiness. Readiness for life's surprises and readiness for life's milestone. While saving keeps your money safe, investing helps it grow. Whether it's gold, mutual funds, or stock, investing is a way you make your money work while you sleep.
A good way to consider as a thumb rule could be investing 10 to 15% of your income. This includes employers' matching contribution.
If 10 to 15% sounds daunting, start with 1 to 3%. Start small, stay consistent, and let the time do the heavy lifting. Debt isn't bad, but staying in debt for too long, That's expensive. So, the goal for debt reduction is less stress and more freedom. You could simply start off by paying the high interest debt, followed by credit card debt, and then the student loan. You could tweak them a bit depending on your situation and the interest, of course. You see, the idea is simple: pay off one debt at a time. So, free up your income, boost your credit, and take back control one step at a time. Also, remember there are so many other constructive things for which you could budget, like personal development, adding a new skill, and so on. All of them are valid goals other than the ones that I just discussed. So basically, when you know your goals, you're aware of how much you need to save. In fact, in case you need a professional help, you will be prepared for seeking that. It's all about knowing what you want. A very important point to note over here is that if you're just going to pick one goal, then you're more likely to feel that you're missing out on progress. Give flexibility to your finances by starting with 2 to 4 goals. See, when you pick 2 to 4 goals, you will be comfortable and you will be feeling that you're progressing. Unlike the situation when you're going to have just one goal on your table and you start to feel that you are missing out on the other goals, or the situation where you have far too many goals on your plate that you feel you're just not moving and you're simply stuck. You don't want to be in either of these cases, so you find yourself balancing somewhere by starting with 2 to 4 goals. While budgeting, it's best to categorize your spendings into fixed as well as the flex spending. Not all spending is created equal. Some bills, they just don't budge. Your EMIs, rent, internet, electricity, and so on. These are your fixed spendings. While your shopping spree and your coffee dates, etc., they are your flex spendings. They are flexible in nature in that sense. Let me break this down so you understand where to cut and where to cover. For fixed spending, you know they are necessary and consistent expenses like your electricity, your internet, your monthly bills, and then there are those important subscriptions for newspaper, etc. So for these, you don't have to make an active spending decision. You can simply put them on autopilot. In contrast, your flex spendings are your in the moment spending. So they can fluctuate depending upon your expense. These flex spendings may vary. Someday you might end up shopping from that fancy grocery store, while on others you might fetch your veggies or some other eatables from the local bazaar that you have. Flex spendings could be sales and buying and catching up on those latest styles and trends. I hope you're getting a sense of what flex spending is. They are basically variable. Budgeting basically separates the mandatory expenses from discretionary or optional ones. So, in a way, budgeting helps you decide on which expenses you can let go of.
Quick tip: easy to remember but powerful if you actually use it. Instead of running those discretionary filters that prick your decision muscle every time, go for autopay when it comes to bills. Yes, the regular ones. Also, you can automate the paycheck for all your deposits. Another quick tip here is that just set a separate account for flex spending. Here you can easily allocate the monthly spend amount. And as long as your spending stays within the limits, you don't have to go overthinking whether or not to spend on coffee or clothing. Also, this prevents you from going overboard.
Let's think about our financial goals. It becomes important to consider our financial goals whenever we're talking about our spending. What one could do is simply set an autopay, be it for savings, investment, or your debt reduction. This not only makes our life simple but also makes our goal a bit automatic. We've all heard this guilt tripping every time we spend, not taking that vacation, the advices like pinching pennies, not buying that drink, and so on. I mean, we've all seen those movies. You work 3 jobs, don't see your families, and then suddenly you grow rich. On surface, it's all dreamy, but in reality, it's impractical. And more than that, it's unsustainable. It's important that we incorporate some fun in our budget, else, every splurge will throw us off track. And also, it's very important that we make things a bit sustainable. What you can do is you can simply accommodate that fun expense yet ensure boundaries so that you don't overspend. A successful budget looks like this: it will save for your goals, cover for your expenses, and account for that fun spending. So let yourself enjoy a portion of your hard earned income. What I usually do is give myself a pocket money that I use to buy all the art supplies. I love to paint, so that's my guilt free spending. You never feel like you've had enough with your hobbies or that random guilt free getaway that you've had. Maybe that girl's trip, and so on. Now, there are, of course, moments of second thoughts, those ifs and buts around that fun expense. So, what I usually do is put that fun expense on autopay. Please remember, this is after you've paid all your expenses, the fixed, the flex, as well as your financial goals. Now it's the time to reward yourself. And what better an option than a fun expense? There are some irregular expenses like the medical cost or the travels, gifts, etc. I'm yet to be married, but for someone with a partner or kids, there could be some surprise expenses like payments for those extracurricular activities or maybe those summer camps, etc. A good way to tackle these is to jot down all the unexpected expenses for at least 12 months. Now, these non monthly or surprise expenses are very uncommon, but they are predictable and you can jot them. Important point to note here is to know the difference between the non monthly expenses and the emergency expenses. Non monthly expenses are uncommon but predictable, while when it comes to your emergency expenses, they are sudden and unpredictable. And of course, you need to stash away cash to cover these and stay on budget.
Taking care of random expenses is possible. All you need to do is observe the random expenses, where your money is going, and record them for at least 12 months. It could be 5,000 or 50,000. Just add these monthly surprise expenses, and voila, you achieved an estimate, a ballpark figure for your annual surprise expense. Now, just divide these by 12 to fetch a monthly amount to set aside for random. In fact, you can create a separate account for making them manageable.
Budgeting is equal to peace of mind. If this made sense, drop a like, hit subscribe. Stay tuned to Economista. More chill money tips coming your way. See you.
Hope you like the video. Please don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe.